What's going on, everybody? I'm pretty excited for today. The new Hoyts are in up at Grafton. I'm headed up that way to shoot them. Over the last couple days, I've had numerous messages from guys asking me to shoot the new bows and do some comparison videos, so that's what I'm about to do. I'm gonna bring it all to you. Appreciate you watching. Sorry it's been so long since I've posted anything. I've really been working hard on the full draw film tour film. Finally got that done. I submitted it last night, so I'm pumped for that. Keep that in your prayers. Hopefully that thing's selected, and man, would that be awesome. But anyway, I'm gonna get up to Grafton, shoot these new bows. We'll bring all the information to you, and appreciate you keeping up with me. What's going on, guys? I want to go ahead and apologize in advance for how long it's been since I've came up here and brought y'all some of the review videos of the new 2021 bows. The last set of videos I did was on the new 2021 V3s from Matthews. A couple weeks ago, Hoyt dropped their new flagship bows for the year. This is the new RX-5. Just based off of what I'm looking at, way different from last year's bow. But like I said, I apologize for it being so long. Today I came up here to shoot all the new Hoyts. I'm going to try to get the reviews done for all of them today, and then I plan on dropping these videos one at a time, maybe 2 weeks, two videos per week. That's the plan. So with that being said, let's jump on into some of the new features of this bow, and let me shoot it a few times and see what I think about it. So like I said, this is the new RX-5 from Hoyt. This is a 30-inch axle-to-axle bow, so not far off from what they had last year, which was 29.5. It's going to be a 6 1/4 inch brace height. I've got this bow right now set at 70.8 pounds, and I've got it set at 27-inch draw. So while I'm talking about draw, let me talk about the cams. This bow has their new HBX cam system, way different from the cams they've had in the past. You can see the shape is much different, and the design of the cam is much different. Another thing you might notice is there's no yokes. This is the first time I've seen this from Hoyt, so I'm interested to see how that plays as far as tuning and shootability of the bow. But anyway, this is the HBX cam system. The thing about this cam system is, one nice thing about it is, if you're a guy that hunts out west, this cam system, this mod is actually adjustable from 85 to 80% let off. You no longer have to change the mods to change the let off, which is a very nice feature. Like if you're like me, I hunt out east and I hunt out west. Out west, a lot of states don't allow more than an 80% let off. So last year when I ordered my RX-4, I just went ahead and ordered a straight up 80% set of mods and put those on the bow. I never even shot the 85s. This gives you the option to do both without having to buy a separate set of mods, which is nice. One other thing about this to keep in mind, this bow is it's got a very wide range of draw length. If I'm not mistaken, it's 25 inches up to 30 inches. So with that being said, changing this mod, the one mod is set up for your shorter set of draw lengths, and another mod is set up for your higher set of draw lengths. So that's going to depend on which mod you need based off your draw length. But it's a cool system. So these cams are actually like a binary cam system. So they're both pretty well identical cams. Versus in the past, Hoyt has had like the cam and a half system, which the cams weren't exactly the same. And I'm interested to see how that plays into the back wall on this bow. I think the back wall may be a little different than the bows they've had in the past, so we'll just keep that in mind as we kind of start getting into shooting this bow. Another thing you'll notice is the riser is just a little bit different. There's no bridging in here. It's wide open, bottom and top. But for the most part, other than that, the riser looks the same. This is their new ambush color, this is their new wilderness color. It's a very nice green. It's like an OD green color that's became so popular in the last year or so. It looks like Hoyt went back to their exact grip instead of having their adjustable grip on these bows. I didn't necessarily care for that grip too much. It just seemed like it added weight and never really got used. The roller guard is slightly different this year. I don't know that that necessarily makes a big difference as far as shootability of the bow, but they did redesign that. So that's something different there. Another thing you'll notice is this little 2-inch or 2 1/4 inch, they're calling it their short stop stabilizer. All it is a little add-on stabilizer down here that screws in. You can take it out. You can put your own stabilizer here. But what Hoyt's theory behind this was moving the stabilizer down and forward would allow you to use a shorter, lighter stabilizer to stabilize the bow in the same manner as you would in the standard stabilizer hole. They do still have the standard stabilizer hole, and they also have the rear stabilizer hole. And they've also added a hole down here in the lower part of their riser where you can add your back bar bracket, whatever it may be. So they've done a lot with this bow for stabilization. Now, one thing I will say is as I took this little shortstop off the bow, it's very unbalanced in my hand. I wish Hoyt would have went with a balanced bow and added this little hole as a secondary option. So if you wanted to use this hole, you could. But when you take this little stabilizer out, the bow is very unbalanced. So just keep that in mind. If you're like me, if I ever purchased one of these bows, I would want to use this second hole, but more than likely I would take this little stabilizer out and use my own stabilizer. So just keep that in mind. It's just a little FYI knowledge there. Another new thing for this year's bows is they've had the integrated rest system for the last couple years. But what they've done this year is they actually came out with an integrated sight system, which I think is usable by Excel and Fuse, if I'm not mistaken on that. But the thing is, this bow doesn't have it. It's an option, but the RX-5s that are in the shop right now don't have that on it. You can add that to it. So if you want it, you can buy it with your bow. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but you can. It's just a cool system. If you have a sight that's usable with that, you may really see the benefits of that. You can bring your quiver closer to your riser. It's just a quicker setup. It's more rigid. So that's just an option that they've got on this year's bow. So with all that said, this bow shoots 342 feet a second. And I'm interested to just draw it back, shoot it, and see what it feels like. So let's go ahead and do that and see what I think about it. All right, so let's see how the new RX-5 shoots. Right off the bat, the draw cycle is a little bit smoother than last year's bow. Oh man, that back wall is nice. I hate to compare bow companies on something like like back wall, but if you've ever shot a Bowtech, the back wall on this bow feels very similar to the back wall on a Bowtech. The draw cycle, in my opinion, is smoother than a Bowtech, but the back wall is phenomenal. Very, very solid. I'm gonna go ahead and try to let down a little bit. Ooh, that thing's got a good valley too. Very, very little hand shock. It's not super quiet, but it's a fairly quiet bow. Let me shoot it one more time. Trying to ease it back, ease it back. You can see where it lets off right at the back. Seems like it's stiff at the front, and it just gets easier the farther back you go. That's a good shooting bow. I'm definitely impressed with the back wall. I think the back wall for me is the biggest difference between this bow and the Hoyts in the past. I really, really like the way that feels. It is super solid. So let me shoot it through the chrono a few times and see what we get for speeds. All right, so I tried to get it as close to 70 pounds as I could. It's sitting at 70.8 pounds. 27-inch draw, 440 grain arrow. So let's see what it does. .268. .267. .269. So 268 feet a second average between 3 arrows. All right, so after shooting this bow a few times and shooting it through the chrono, we averaged 268 feet a second. Excuse me, between a 3 arrow group, and once again that's 27-inch draw, 440 grain Easton Axis arrow, 70 pounds or 70.8 pounds, and average 268. Now I've had a lot of guys ask me why I don't use a drop away, or why I don't shoot the bow at 30-inch draw. Well, there's a lot of specs out there for what these bows shoot at 30 inches. But for guys like me that shoot 27 inches or shoot something shorter than 28, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of information out there for what these bows will shoot. So I like to shoot these bows at my draw length. I can give you a better comparison of what I think about the bow. And I can also give you a speed comparison for somebody like me with a shorter draw length, which you don't see many of out there right now. So that's why I do that. As far as the whisker biscuit goes, the reason I use a biscuit is because it's the easiest thing for the guys to set up in the shop on every single one of the display bows, instead of having to worry about trying to set drop away timing and stuff like that on each individual bow. They can set these bows up with a biscuit, and then the customer can shoot the bow whatever they want to do. And then when they buy the bow, they can put their own rest on there, and the shop can reuse the whisker biscuit. So that's why I do that. So keep in mind, I mean, it may take off 1 to 3 feet a second on the speed. If you're going to use a drop away, you may get a little bit faster. With that in mind, I am going to do a video on a biscuit versus a drop away to show you an exact speed test on a specific bow. And that way we'll kind of set that issue aside. I keep getting comments and messages about that, but it's just hard for me to set up a drop away on every single one of the bows I come up here and shoot, and it takes time out of the guys' days up here at Grafton. So they're nice enough to let me come up here and shoot their bows, so I'm going to shoot what they got on them. So keep that in mind. But overall, I'm very impressed with this Hoyt. I think it's a very nice upgrade from last year's RX-4. I owned the RX-4, and after taking it home and shooting it and everything else, I didn't shoot the bow very well. That's just me personally. I liked the bow, but I do think this is a very, very nice upgrade from last year's RX-4. It's definitely a completely different bow system. It's not like a little bit of an upgrade like it hasn't been in the past couple years. This is a new system for sure from start to finish. So if you're interested in getting a new bow, I would highly recommend coming up here and shooting this RX-5. I think you'll be very impressed with it. It's definitely worth coming up here and shooting. So I appreciate you watching the video. Like I said, I'm sorry it took so long to get you another one of these review videos, but we're here now. I'm going to get these bows shot, and I'm going to start dropping these videos to you 1 or 2 a week for the next couple of weeks. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you keeping up with my content. Please continue to like and subscribe and comment down below. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram. That's the easier way to get a hold of me during the day. And then if you have any questions that I can't answer, call these guys up here at Grafton Archery at 704-855-1300, or come up here and see them. Come up here and shoot this bow for yourself. All these reviews I'm telling you are purely based off of what I think of the bow. You need to come up here and shoot it for yourself to really get the full feel for the bow before you decide to make a decision. So live your life to the fullest. Use your passions to bless others. We'll catch you on the next video.